When a restaurant prioritizes wealth over respect, a common man was humiliated and ejected for failing to look. Before we go any further, let us know where you're watching from. On a cold, breezy evening, the polished glass doors of Label V opened silently, and the perfectly laid tables, soft lighting, and soothing music produced an atmosphere of refined elegance. Rich enough, but the following day the truth startled everyone. Waiters hurried between tables while the patrons, all dressed in their finest attire, whispered. They all exchanged pleasant greetings when a man who appeared to be completely normal, dressed simply in jeans and a jacket, with a clean-shaven face and steady, kind eyes, entered the room. However, this man was none other than Johnny Depp, the well-known actor and, more significantly, the restaurant's covert owner. Tonight, Johnny had come with a specific goal in mind: to see if Label V really lived up to its promise of warm, respectful service. He selected a quiet corner table by the window and ordered a bowl of soup and a glass of water. His heart was full of curiosity and hope. He wanted to see if all of the patrons, regardless of appearance, were treated with kindness. In his small notebook, he recorded information not as a critic but as a man who had founded this establishment on the principle of inclusive hospitality. Soon after, Johnny's presence attracted the attention of Victor, the stern manager of the restaurant. Victor was a tall man in a sharp suit who exuded unwavering authority. He felt that only people who appeared wealthy or sophisticated should eat at Label V because every guest had to fit a rigid image. Tonight, the unassuming man in the corner did not look like Victor. Instead, he strode over his face with a hard expression, leaning close so that only he could hear him say, "Listen carefully, sir. This isn't a charity. Our restaurant is built on high standards, and your look and your clothes just don't match what we expect here." Johnny calmly addressed Victor's gaze and said, "I'm just here to try your food. Like everyone else, I'll pay for my food." But Victor's tone increased in the ensuing silence. A few guests nearby exchanged uncomfortable looks, including Daniel, a young waiter with gentle eyes, who appeared troubled by the harshness of the words. Without further discussion, "Cold or pain is not the issue. You must understand that this isn't about money. It's about preserving our image. You must leave immediately." Victor pointed firmly to the door, and then he gave Johnny the order to collect his few possessions and leave, leaving behind a chamber filled with awkward quiet and stinging disappointment outdoors in the streetlight glow. Johnny stopped on the pavement, and the crisp night air didn't make Victor's scathing remarks any less painful. He remembered the dream while perched on a little bench, which Label V, a restaurant that treated everyone like family, was established on. As he opened his notebook to record his sentiments, he was overcome with sadness at the thought of those early days when he had worked so hard to create a cozy and welcome atmosphere. Though the night had been difficult, it gave him an opportunity to see what really needed to change. With a heavy heart but a determined spirit. The words were not ones of anger but of determination. "Tonight's rejection," he wrote, "is a test of our true values. Am I building a place of warmth or a palace of pride?" A kind passerby stopped briefly to ask if he was okay, and his brief smile in reply reminded Johnny that not all hope was lost. Johnny made the decision that he would return to Label V not as the unremarkable guest he had been before, but in a way that would draw attention to himself. The following day, rumors of the incident quickly spread among the regular customers and staff, with many talking in low voices about how an ordinary guest had been sent away with harsh words for the staff, especially the young waiter Daniel. Victor tried to go back to his routine as if nothing had happened yet. In the quiet moments before the service began, he felt a lingering discomfort. The strict standards he so firmly believed in now seemed to conflict with the spirit of hospitality he once dreamed of promoting, even though he would never publicly acknowledge it. He was struck by the recollection of last night. Customers also started to whisper about what actual quality meant, that it wasn't just about expensive clothing or ostentatious prices, but about how one was treated. A desire for genuine compassion and respect started to spread across the restaurant, hinting at a shift. The next night, there was a noticeable as news of the incident from the night before spread like wildfire, like the first notes of a delicate piano. Buzz filled the label. As melody started to play, a sleek black automobile with the gleam of polished chrome and the throb of the motor came up outside. The crowd whispered in awe as a man in a sharp, elegant suit with perfectly styled hair and a stride that exuded quiet confidence walked in front of Drew. Victor's heart raced as he recognized the same calm, determined gaze that he had so callously dismissed just a day earlier. The crowd was filled with whispers, but Victor was deeply overwhelmed by the immediate confrontation with his own pride, and he stood frozen for a heartbeat before gathering the courage to step forward inside the transformation. The restaurant, which had previously been marred by nasty remarks, was now pulsating with hope for restoration. Victor, who was clearly rattled, forced a polite smile as he approached Johnny to say welcome back. He controlled his voice to convey both contrition and a strong desire for forgiveness. From the tastefully laid table to the soft, hospitable background music, every element had been painstakingly planned in an attempt to make up for the humiliation of the night before. When a waiter eagerly offered an autographed napkin as a celebratory gesture, Johnny took a measured step towards the reserved table and looked around with keen discernment. He noticed the staff's respectful nods, a few nearby guests' hushed apologies, and most tellingly, Victor's troubled expression. As the evening wore on, the initial excitement gave way to a sense of introspection. Victor's mind was racing with memories of his cow's words, and every whisper in the room felt like a silent rebuke. Unable to escape the weight of his guilt, he found himself drawn toward Johnny, who sat composed yet resolute in a rare moment of vulnerability. Johnny leaned back, smiled with quiet resolve, and said firmly, "I'm not here for special treatment. Please treat me as you would any guest because that's what I am." Victor walked up with shaky steps. Mr. Depp started off with a tremulous, low voice. "I have to say I'm sorry. Pride and the need to preserve our reputation distracted me last night. I wounded someone who deserved respect because I didn't recognize each guest's actual worth." After giving Victor a long look and softening his eyes, Johnny replied in a tough yet sympathetic tone, "What you did wasn't just a mistake, it was a lesson in humility. Being hospitable is about making everyone feel welcome, not about who looks a specific way." The room fell silent as Victor took in Johnny's words. The full truth hit him with unquestionable force. He had insulted the very man who had founded LV on the principles of inclusivity and warmth. His eyes welled with tears of regret as he whispered, "I understand now. I have been consumed by my own arrogance. I came here to test that promise, and my return isn't about me. It's about reminding us all what real respect means for a heartbeat." Johnny went on subtly, allowing this to be our pivotal moment. The echoes of that unforgettable night changed LV from the inside out. Johnny's consistent presence in the restaurant wasn't about showing off his fame. Rather, it was a constant reminder of the principles upon which the establishment was built. He watched as the staff started to adopt a new approach based on empathy, understanding, and genuine care. Victor learned from this pain and made sure every guest left here feeling valued, which is the true mark of leadership. Now that he was humbled by his previous behavior, Victor actively sought out feedback from each visitor on how we could better serve them. His once icy tone gradually changed to one of genuine concern as he started to view each customer as a person with a distinct story rather than a status symbol, and even the doubtful mutterings of regular customers started to wane as deeds of kindness started to take the place that had previously been occupied by rigidity. The young waiter Daniel, whose modest generosity had always been his hallmark, became the driving force behind this change. His kind smile, sincere concern, and small acts of kindness transformed everyday encounters into heartfelt moments of connection. His co-workers soon followed suit, and at a special dinner held to commemorate the new era, Label V changed from an exclusive club to a welcoming community hub. I came here to test that promise, and through both harsh lessons and acts of compassion, We've discovered that true quality isn't measured by wealth or appearance, but by the love and warmth we share. Let this transformation be our legacy, Johnny said to the assembled staff and devoted patrons. We built this restaurant on a promise that every individual is to be treated with respect and kindness. The gathering exploded in applause, with each clap reflecting a shared hope for a future characterized by true hospitality throughout time as well as a collaborative commitment to change. Lale V developed into more than simply a classy restaurant. It became a living representation of compassion and rebirth. The epic tale of the night Johnny came undercover, was turned down, and then triumphantly returned became a timeless legend that motivated everyone who heard it. Victor underwent a significant metamorphosis. Previously a strict enforcer of strict standards, he now committed himself every day to making sure that no guest ever left feeling undervalued. In quiet moments of introspection, he would remember that fateful encounter and realize that the lesson was not only for him but for the entire community. His journey from pride to humility reminded everyone who worked with him that true leadership is built on empathy and respect. Johnny also came out of the experience with a fresh perspective on his dream. His initial test had revealed serious flaws, but his brave return sparked a wave of change that permeated the entire restaurant. Even as the flashing cameras recorded his every move, his constant message remained clear: treat me as you would any guest for Johnny. In the end, Lale V stood as a beacon of hope where even the worst errors led to meaningful growth. The restaurant, which had previously been defined only by exclusivity, had changed into a vibrant community that welcomed every story, every face, and every heart as long as kindness and respect guided its every action label. Fame was never as important as the principles of genuine respect and hospitality. V would always be a haven for everyone because genuine quality isn't determined by wealth or outward appearances. Rather, it is demonstrated by the respect, kindness, and sincere care we give to one another. When we treat each person as an individual with inherent value, we create communities that are based on empathy and understanding. Please remember to like this video if you like this narrative and think that kindness and respect have great power. Additionally, for more motivational content, subscribe to our channel. To ensure that you never miss an inspiring story, press the notification bell. Spread the word by showing your friends and family this video. Show kindness to everyone, regardless of their identity.